Today we're going to take a walk through the garden and try to find as many of the proven winter sedums as that I'm able to find. I think it'll be a nice comparison to see the different sedums, the different colors, the different sizes, and just compare them all in one video. Hi, I'm Heidi from Garden Crossings, and let's go take a walk through the garden. Here's a beautiful specimen of the Sedum Pride Joy. This is part of the Rock and Round series. These are hardy in zones 3 to 9, and they get about 10 to 12 inches tall by about, this one here is about 18 or so inches wide. So fairly low growing, produce nice looking mounds. Pride Joy has kind of a nice bright pink, almost a bubblegum texture or color, not texture, a bubblegum color of pink. And the nice thing with sedum is they give you nice fall color in the garden, as well as it's a great plant for the pollinators. So oftentimes as the gardens kind of get to the end of the season, there's less and less available for the pollinators, but sedum really are a beautiful late season pollinator plant. Here's a nice grouping of the Sedum Pure Joy, another one that's part of the Rock and Round series. This here I believe is 7 plants planted in this grouping, and you can kind of see the individual little mounding habits, although they are starting to grow into one another. These get, again, 10 to 12 inches tall and are about 16 to 20 inches wide or so, like we're seeing here, zones 3 to 9. Sedum are a nice drought tolerant plant, so if you have an area or a rock garden that you're looking to plant into that maybe doesn't get quite as much water as other areas of the garden, sedum are a great selection. So Pure Joy has a little bit lighter flower color. You can see it's not quite as vibrant as the one we did before, but really just a beautiful little addition. Plant them in mass or plant them singularly. You can also see this would make a great plant for a garden border as well. So here's a sedum that I think is definitely something unique and different from the others that we're going to be talking about today, because typically when you think of sedum you think of shades of red or orange or those kind of colors, but here we have the Sedum Lemon Jade. This is part of the Rock and Grow series, and it's actually in full bloom right now. So this is kind of a mono or a sedum that the flowers and the foliage are very similar. So the Lemon Jade features kind of a lime green flower. You can see those are opened up right now. And the Rock and Grow series, they typically get about 26 to 30 inches tall and are hardy in zones 3 to 9. So this here is a grouping of, there's probably about 7 actually here. A few of them are doing a little bit better than others. You know how that goes in a garden. But really a nice, taller, more upright shaped sedum. And the thing that's I think really stunning or vibrant about this one is with all of the greens and the various colors going on in the garden, this lime green really makes a very beautiful pop of color. Here's another fun sedum. This one is part of the Rock and Grow series as well, and this is the Rock and Grow Tiramisu. So here's a grouping of, I think there's 6 or 7 plants. It kind of seems like that's usually what they do, is 5 to 7 plants, and these are in their prime right now. Tiramisu has kind of got a deeper, darker, kind of a olivey-ish, bluish green foliage. And then as the flowers start to open, you can see there's various colorations going on. So there's kind of coppery orange, kind of almost a whitish color. But I think this is really neat, flowering like this, because just the different colors that are coming through, which is the various stages that these blooms are at, really kind of create some neat texture as well, because I think the different flower colors are giving this plant a little bit of dimension here in this garden. So these are about 26 to 30 inches tall, and these two, they're about 24 or so inches wide. So nice fall color, pollinators, and just another truly unique flower color here on the sedums today. This sedum is not part of the Proven Winter collection, but since I'm talking sedum, I thought I might as well throw this one in as well, because I think this one is equally as pretty. It looks a lot like tiramisu in the sense of we're getting that two-tone of flower going on, but Sedum Nightlight has near black foliage, which is really pretty cool. And then these flowers, they're shades of yellow and kind of deep, rich burgundy. And I don't know if the name Nightlight kind of implies how we're seeing those poke of light color flowers going on this dark foliage, but it really is very pretty. These, I don't have the exact details, so I'm going to go off of what I'm seeing here. They're about 24 inches tall and about 24 inches wide. And this is a grouping here of 5 plants of the Sedum Nightlight. Here's a fun grouping of the Sedum Rock and Grow Lemon Jade. Look at how it's paired so nicely in here with coleus, and there's some nepeta, and there's also a lot of silvery foliage going on. This is really just a very pretty space in this garden. Sedum Back in Black, part of the Rock and Grow series, is a sedum that features near black foliage. I need to be careful when I say black because it actually does have a little bit of burgundy going on, or plums, but this is going to be one of the darkest foliage sedum in the Proven Winners collection. These are about 26 to 30 inches tall and are hardy in zones 3 to 9, and these are kind of just past their peak as far as flower goes. And we'll go in and I'll show you a couple of the peak color flowers so you can see what they actually look like. They're almost kind of a beautiful reddish flower as they open, and then as they kind of get more spent, they get darker in color like you're seeing here. But again, another great sedum that adds nice foliage color, and not that bright green like the Lemon Jade, but just a nice deep dark rich black that I think also pairs well with all the greens that you typically see in the garden. So in its own right, it just kind of stands out even before the flowers, start to form, because the flowers are a fall flower, it's a fall flowering plant. So even before the flowers start to form, this nice dark black foliage really has this beautiful place in this garden. Here we have Sedum Rockin' Round Popstar, a very low growing sedum. It's perfect for borders or just the fronts of garden beds. This plant gets only about 10 to 12 inches tall, so not super tall, and about 16 to 20 inches wide. Hardy in zones 3 to 9, so a very hardy sedum. It's also drought tolerant, likes to be grown in full sun locations. During the summer, it's got nice kind of blue-green foliage, and then once fall emerges, you're seeing these bright shades of magenta pink, which is just absolutely gorgeous for this time of year in the garden. Here's a nice grouping of the Sedum Coral Jade, part of the Rock and Grow series. They get about 26 to 30 inches tall, as do most of the plants in this series, and are hardy in zones 3 to 9. So Coral Jade has kind of a bluish green foliage when it's not in flower, and you can see here it's kind of in its prime right now. And again, this one too is giving just various different stages of color on this flower. So I think the various colors kind of give this plant extra kind of dimension, which I think is really neat. Jade is the kind of the green that's represented in the foliage, and then coral is more talking about the flower colors here on this plant. This is a grouping of, I think, 5 again, and really looks nice for some late season color for the garden. And we're going to end the sedum tour here with a Sedum Superstar. This is part of the Rockin' Round series, very vibrant magenta pink blooms. The foliage on this one is kind of got a bluish green going on, but I love how this is just a great plant for attracting the pollinators. And this is just starting to open up, so I can see there's a lot of buds yet remaining. This here is a grouping of 3 plants, and it's really just a great plant for that low growing front border rock garden if you have it. And like I said with the sedum, these are very drought tolerant once they're established. So if you have a space in your garden that can tend to be a little bit tricky, sedum might be the answer for your space. Thank you for watching this video on the various types of sedum. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave it below. If you're new to the station, we invite you to subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'm Heidi from Garden Crossings.